What is going on, friends? Y'all, we have a special episode for y'all today. It is your boy Roy and my special guest. We have our grand champ from our No Excuses Challenge, the winner of $1,000, a golden cookie. She's lost over 50 pounds. I can't wait to dive into her story, but we have Miss Nicki. Say hi, Miss Nicki.
Hi.
Y'all, I am so freaking excited. Y'all, we're gonna dive right into this because really I was gonna let Nikki introduce herself, but this whole entire podcast is really gonna be talking about her journey, where she started, how she found rough, how she lost the weight, the goods, the bads, all of these things, to help hopefully give you guys some encouragement or a path to what does it take to start to build your happiest, healthiest life. So Nikki, I'm gonna get right into this. I want to really know what was life like before you made this transformation, before you found rough? Like, did you struggle with your weight? Did you struggle with medications? Did you struggle with like what was life like? Just break it down for us. Paint us a picture.
So I have PCOS and I have struggled with that all of my adult life. I've had cysts removed. I've had all the things. We had to do fertility treatments to get pregnant with our first child. And so I've struggled with my weight since that diagnosis. When I was younger, I didn't have any issues. About 23, 24, I really started having issues. And so I've been heavy since then. I've lost weight. I've gained it back. I've lost weight. I've gained it back. I've done all the programs. I've done Weight Watchers. I've done vegan. I've done 75 hard. If you can find it on the internet, I have tried it and I have lost weight and I have gained it back within like not very much time. Um, I
So
tend to be very extreme, and so that has helped me lose it quick, but it has not been helpful in keeping it off. So I have always yo-yoed back and forth with my weight.
yeah. So the issue here, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, and I see this so many times, is the all or nothing mentality. Like the lack of motivation and the lack of willpower and the lack of trying was not the issue. It's like you put a program, you tell me what to do, and I'm gonna do it. I'm all in. But then as soon as the program stops or we make a mistake or we fall off, then it's like all of a sudden we're gaining all the weight back. And you mentioned Weight Watchers, which is pretty popular, 75 hard. I've done that one as well. And you're going through all this, and I am really curious. Did you ever feel like it was the PCOS's fault? Like, the reason why I can't keep the weight off is because I have this thing, or did that ever cross your mind?
That has been a problem for a long time. We've tried a lot of different things to manage that. So I currently am on a medication for it. I have been for about 2 years. And even on the medication, like weight loss was not easy. And again, when you're like usually I get super excited to do something and then I get hurt or an event comes up or one of my friends has a bad day and so we have to go do something. So then I either have to do it all or I just am done for like 2 months and then I try the next thing. But I know that the PCOS makes I'm mildly insulin resistant, so I'm mindful of what I'm supposed to be eating, but it's never really like made a difference.
Yeah. And I think that's the huge thing, right? Like you talked about insulin resistance. That's a big thing as well. In PCOS, and I hear these things all the time of, like it makes things harder, so I can't. I'm like, and you're great proof of this, Nikki. Of like you have all these setbacks, and of course it makes things harder. We have to be a little bit more diligent, but impossible, definitely not, right? And you've proved that. So you've gone through all these different things, and you're willing to try whatever. And then you said you struggle with weight your whole life, correct?
Yeah.
Since you were 23, 24 is when we started to
Yep.
see problems. If you don't mind me
Yes.
asking, how old are you now?
45.
Okay. And so with that being said, we just found rough 6 months ago, 7 months ago.
July.
Yeah,
Yes.
July of last year. And so you've been doing this. And again, I would assume that doing something for 6, 7 months is a long time compared to these other programs where it was probably just a couple months and fall off and gain the weight back. So years and years and years, you're trying everything. Weight goes down, you gain the weight back, weight goes down, weight comes back on. And then finally you find rough. Do you even remember how you found us? I'm curious.
It was just a Facebook video, and I had kind of thought that after we did a music festival in July, after that I was going to try to buckle down and try to get in better shape for my kids, and I have a cruise coming up in February, and so I was like, between July and February, that gives me ample time. I just got to find something that'll work and then see what happens. And then one day on Facebook I was scrolling along, and one of your videos came up, and I thought, the timing lines up for what I'm trying to do. Let's see what this is about.
So you took a little leap of faith, and so I'm I don't know, like, because I don't get to experience what you experience. I'm curious, like, what was your first experience? Did you think that it was a scam? Did you think, oh, this is actually really cool? Were you like all in? Were you skeptical? Like, what were your initial thoughts?
So my initial thought was like, I was like 100% like all in, because it seemed like something I could do with three children who have dance 4 days a week, and a husband who's running around, and a full-time job, and all of the things. When you talked, it was just like, this seems like something that I can be all in on, and it isn't going to be overwhelming. It is going to be an all in that I can manage.
Mm.
And so then I was like, I'm just going to jump in both feet. I'm going to listen to what he says. I'm going to do what he says.
That that's
And that's what I did.
I love that. And you were all in from day one, and I think it showed all that throughout the entire program, that you've always just been like, just tell me what I need to do. And I think, again, going back with this all or nothing mentality, it was never an issue of you trying the stuff. It was just you were just trying to find the right program that actually fit your busy life, which you talk about all the time. So, again, I just love pointing this out, because I feel like sometimes we announce, like, Nicki, your transformation has been absolutely incredible. You've lost over 50 pounds in 6 months, like life changing stuff. But again, PCOS, insulin resistance. You mentioned three kids. How old are your kids?
They are 9, 8, and 5.
So it's not like they're out of the house, grown up, right? Those are
Right.
busy freaking ages. And you work full time, yes?
Mhm. Yes.
Works full time, and you're getting the kids to their sports, you're having to do school, you're having to do all this. Like, you are living life. I think sometimes we think, oh, those amazing transformations, it's like, oh, she probably doesn't have kids, or her kids are all grown up, or I couldn't do that because I have this. It's like you have all these cards stacked. I'm just gonna say they're stacked against you, Nikki. It's like it really is. And to still be able to find the time and do the things, like, I keep giving you props, but it truly, truly, truly is incredible. It's why I believe that you deserve the grand champ title. And so you join Rough, and you're like, man, this can fit my life. I don't want to, pretend like, oh, this was all fine and dandy, and oh, you joined this challenge, and 50 pounds just came off overnight, because it was months and months and months of putting the work. What was probably the hardest thing for you over the last 6 months?
The hardest thing for me, honestly, was like trying to figure out. So, like, you gave me my protein goals, you gave me my food goals. Then it was like figuring out like what I like to eat that matches all of that. And so to start with, it was like 15 minutes of exercise, or like, a certain amount of steps. And I can do 15 minutes of exercise. That wasn't a problem. The exercise seemed to like come very naturally, but I spent a lot of time trying to find the foods that I like that fit into what you were asking of me. And a lot, like, there are very few foods I don't like. So it was just fixing all of it so it lined up calorie and macro wise into what you had asked. And you broke it down for me in a way that made a lot more sense. It wasn't like I was having to focus on 1,000 different things. I was really focused on protein. I was really focused on water, and then filling in with things besides that. And then once that started clicking, and I started finding the foods that I like, I have 2 or 3 breakfasts that I eat during the week. I have 2 or 3 lunches that I eat during the week. Supper really is the biggest like variety I have, and that kind of depends on what we're in the mood for. But but because my lunches and my breakfasts are pretty consistent protein wise and calorie wise, I have a lot more freedom in the evening when I want to eat with my kids, and I have to be a little bit more on the fly. I found protein shakes. Like, I love the root beer protein shake. Like, I found foods that fit into that I really, really like, that I can eat every day and never get sick of them. And then I just throw different vegetables in or a different carb. Like I go between rice and sweet potato and low calorie bread, but I have my staple proteins. And once I figured that out, then it was just grabbing it out of the fridge and being ready to go.
You said something pretty, I mean, you said quite a few things that I think are going to stand out to a lot of people. You mentioned that you didn't have to eat the same thing, boring meals every single day, which is incredible. But it took us a little bit of time to get there. And I think that's a big thing for anybody who's first starting our challenge. I think they struggle with the same thing. It's like tracking the food and figuring out how to make it fit. And oh, it's like, it's so hard. And I always mention it's like riding a bike. Like, yeah, it's hard, but once you figure it out, now you're like, oh, I have this swap, or I could do this. I don't feel like that. Let's do this instead. You mentioned you have the most flexibility with dinner, so it sounds like if you're on the fly, right, again, like you get to eat the things that you enjoy, but you mentioned something that I think most people would be like, wait, did she just say that she ate that? Because you mentioned insulin sensitivity. You mentioned PCOS. And we've also mentioned that you lost 50 pounds. And something that doesn't quite click with that is that you said bread, rice, and potatoes. You ate all three of those things and were still able to lose the weight.
Every day. Every day I have carbs.
Wait,
And
wait.
I don't worry. And I probably eat more carbs now than I have in the past probably 3 years because I've been so worried about it. And that's the thing I cut out.
Yeah.
And those are the things that I like.
Yeah.
So I eat more carbs now than I did prior to your program. And it seems like when I'm mindful of like I'm when I make sure I'm getting good carbs, those are the days I have good weight loss days.
Yeah. Oh, I have chills all over my body because of what I'm about to say right now, which is people are like, I know people are listening to this are like, wait, I can eat those things and lose weight. I'm like, yes, I've been preaching this. I've been preaching it, you guys. It's so doable. But what does your husband do for work?
My husband owns a pizza restaurant. He's got
Owns a
he's got
pizza restaurant.
50 specialty pizzas.
And what does your husband bring home for dinner some nights on occasion?
Most nights, so Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, we have dance, and at least two of those nights, pizza is home.
And you got to eat the pizza.
I eat pizza every time pizza comes home. I have a slice.
I have chills all over my body. That is like the most exciting thing for me ever because I know people, they just don't believe it. Nikki, I wish I could tell, like, you're having carbs, you're having bread, you're having rice, you're having potatoes, you're having pizza at least twice a week, and you've lost over 50 freaking pounds. Again, I try to teach this to people. It's like, Nikki, like, this is something you could do for the rest of your life.
Hmm?
Right? Like this is the secret. And you said that all these other diets, all the other times you try to lose weight, you always thought, oh, I have insulin sensitivity, I have PCOS, I can't have carbs. Got to cut that out. But then it never lasted long term. And it's like, again, the things that you just said right now, it's like if we can get people to understand this thing and get over that hurdle of like the tracking the food and figuring out what actually fits your life, it's like the freedom you have now, it's like an absolute game changer. So again, we kind of turn this from like what was the hardest thing was nutrition, but it's also kind of like it's probably like the most freedom that's the best thing at the same time. I also want to talk about the workouts because I think this is a big thing where a lot of people say, I don't have enough time to work out. And they think they have to get a gym membership, they have to work out for 2 hours a day, they have to do all of this cardio. It's just there's not enough time in the day. But you have three kids and not easy ages either. How did you fit it in? And I guess we can talk about when you first started to where you are now because maybe it's changed, but how did you make it fit? What did you do for workouts?
So I started, basically I was starting with like 15 minutes of walking a day. And then we have a lot of workout equipment at my house. So I have like free weights. I have a Smith machine. I have a bike. I have a lot of those things. And once, like probably maybe a month or so in, I was doing 2:15. For my work, I get 2 15-minute breaks and I walk every 15-minute break I have. I actually, over Christmas, for Christmas, one of my Christmas presents was a walking pad, so I can walk during meetings now too. For cardio, I prefer walking. I did do a 5K for a turkey trot, and I did it in like 35 minutes, which I thought was impressive
Yeah.
for like the third run I did of the entire year of 2025 at 45 years of age.
I love it.
Um, but I focus on walking. I make sure I get 15 minutes of walking. And some nights, like when the girls are at dance, if it's nice, I'll walk while they're at dance. I'll just walk around the parking lot It's about 900 times for a mile, but you just trot along,
Yeah.
loop, loop, loop. Listen to podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts. Sometimes if I'm trying to see how fast I can go, I'll put on music and then I have fast music and I'll try to, um, walk as fast as I can. From when I started, I was at like about a 19-minute mile, 19:38-minute mile, and now I'm at like a 15:34-minute mile. So, and I do, I'm put effort into it. Like I'm walking like with
Same.
enthusiasm, but I'm not like I'm trying to work as hard as I possibly can. I also probably 2 or 3 months in, I started lifting weights regularly. So I lift weights 4 days a week. But it's usually, I would say a half hour of weights 3 or 4 days a week. And then I walk on my 15-minute breaks whenever I can get a walk in. That's just, if people are
Well,
looking
I
for me,
love,
that's what I'm doing.
yeah, well, I love this. I mean, again, it sounds like, I mean, yes, we have the strength training 3, 4 days per week, which, again, I feel like I have this conversation because we own a gym here in Colorado, and people come in, they're like, I'm like, you're going to start with 3 days per week. And they're like, well, I want to do five. I want to do 6 days a week. I'm like, but you don't need that, right? Like you're doing 3 to 4 days of resistance training, but the foundation of everything you're saying is on a consistent basis, we're just walking. And I think that's the most underrated form of activity that we can get. If I told people, Nikki, your story, I said, yeah, I can help you lose 50 pounds. You get to eat pizza and all you have to do is walk. They'd be like, wait, what? Like mind blown. Because if I would have told you that 3 years ago, you would have thought there's no way. I have to give up the pizza. I'm too busy with the kids. Like walking's not going to get me there. Oh my God. Like my husband owns a pizza shop. Like there's no way. And it's like you are proof again and through that this is possible. So God, this is amazing. I wish I could say that I'm making all this stuff up and I gave you a script, but this is just your life, Nikki, and I love it. I do want to talk about one more big thing. And I talk about this all the time, like to all of our new people coming in, because I talk a lot about how the identity isn't, or the scale is not your identity. And we have to let go of that because the scale is going to fluctuate. And I don't even know because I just see it when I look at your chart of your weight. There's these peaks and valleys, right? It wasn't like you lost weight every single
No.
week. There's plateaus, there's highs and lows. And I'm curious because I've never talked to you about this, but I talk to everybody. I share your story all the time. And during your very first challenge, within the first month of you joining us, you had a spike of about 7 to 10 pounds. And I don't know, like, did you notice that? Did you realize, like, what were your thoughts? Did you know what was going
I
on? Like,
I
what?
knew what was going to happen. That was the week we were at the music festival. And
Mm,
so I was drinking a large amount of alcohol. I was only eating fried foods. Like the only thing I was doing during that week was just having fun.
right.
And I still do that. I usually will be a little like, again, like for Christmas, I ate my normal breakfast, ate my normal lunch, and then kind of let myself enjoy everything else. But I've really tried to. I used to prior to this, I would like weigh myself every single day and then like get really upset when it would go up and I couldn't explain it. Like I was like, I ate everything that I was supposed to eat and now I'm up 2 pounds. And it would just like just just mess with my mind so much. And then when I started the program, I weighed myself every day for quite a while, except for the week we were at Country Fest. I didn't weigh myself that week, but when I got back, then I started weighing myself every day. And probably like about a month or two in, when I started feeling better, it kind of didn't matter anymore. Like the scale matters. Like I still like weigh myself like once a week, but I started focusing more on like I've lost like 11 inches in my waist. I lost like 9 inches in my hips. That's much more impressive to me than like what the scale says today.
Yeah, I love
And
that.
so that once I started like feeling better, then I stopped worrying about it as much and then I just started focusing on like are the activities that I'm doing are they making me feel better or are they hurting me? Is the food that I'm eating, because sometimes you'll like eat something and you're like, oh, like I just, I'm just like tired after that. And so I started to be a little bit more mindful about like how are the things that I'm doing impact my energy levels and how I'm feeling. And then the scale doesn't, right now, the scale doesn't matter what it says because I feel fantastic and I feel like I look fantastic. And so whether the scale is 199 or 202 or 230 really. It doesn't really matter anymore because I'm much more comfortable and confident in who I am. And
Hmm.
that's something that I don't think you can just take away.
Yeah.
And that's what this program did because it gave me attainable goals that I could do, like incrementally got bigger and harder. And then I met that. Like I met 15 minutes of workout. I met 10,000 steps. I met all those things. And then I was like, hell yeah, I can do this. What are you going to throw at me next, Roy? What are you going to have me do now? Make it harder.
Right. I love that. I love that. And so I guess because this is such a big thing for so many people that, I mean, obviously, like you said, like the scale is important, but it's not the most important. But it takes us a lot of time to like mentally like let that go when it's like we know that if we lost weight, we would be healthier, happier. But it's like, again, the inches lost, the way your clothes fit, the energy, like all these things are more important. And I would assume that when you did these other programs like Weight Watchers or 75 Hard or vegan, like whatever you did, when the scale would go up, like most people would be like, this doesn't work, or what's the point, and you just throw in the towel. What was the, like, what changed for you? Like, what advice could you give to somebody, or what changed for you? Because obviously, we still, at least in the beginning, would have to have battled that. How did you overcome it? Like, what changed?
I think in the very first meeting that I had with you, like before I signed up for everything, and I don't remember exactly what you said, but you said something in that meeting, and I was just like, you know what? He gets me. And if I just listen, I think if I just listen, then it'll be okay. And so when I saw those things, then I would like I'd go back and listen to a replay, or I would go find a video that you had done and I would listen to it, and I would always find something in there that would like make it make sense. And
Mm.
then I could go back and be like, okay, this is why. Or he does know what he's talking about. I had a bad day, whatever. And I think if people just embrace what is available in the app and go find old videos, go listen to like everything you can, then everything starts to really make sense. And you can listen to those like while you're walking, while you're waiting for your kids. All of those, like my kids have heard "This is your boy Roy" 1,000 times. So
I love it. Oh, I love that. I love that. Oh my goodness, you're really giving me chills just talking about all these things. Just your kids know your boy Roy of all the
yep.
videos. Okay, I have two more pretty big questions, Miss Nikki. And again, I appreciate you making the time to do this in your busy schedule. But the first question I always ask, we're starting to get into doing another challenge, and this challenge I always promote it like it is 100% free. I truly believe that to get the information that we taught you to get from where you are to where you want to be is free. Okay, so we're about to start this next free challenge. If anybody wants info on that, I'm not hard to get a hold of. You guys can always reach out to me. But Nikki, as the grand champ, and hindsight being 2020, if you could give advice to you 6 months ago when you first joined, or to somebody brand new, or somebody who's, should I do the challenge? Should I not? Or maybe they've given up and they've just fallen off and they need to get back. What advice would you give people? Then one thing that you're like, this would change everything if you just did this.
I think if you just believe in the process and believe in yourself, because
Love that.
what you're looking for is in the app. The information is there. And then really just take some time to understand what it is that you are looking for. Like I enjoy food, so I don't want to eat crappy food.
Hmm.
And so if I'm going to have something, I want it to taste good. I want it to be fulfilling. And so all of my meals are like meals that anybody would want to eat because they're just amazing, right? So I think, the other piece that is super helpful is the app because the tracking is so easy in the app. Everything is so easy in the app. You can keep track of everything there. And so the app is a lifesaver and it makes things much easier. Um, but just really like trusting yourself and the process and then doing the work at the beginning. Like take the time to do the work to figure out what you like to do for exercise and what you like to eat. That's when you can really like start seeing the big changes because if you're eating food you don't like, you can't maintain that. If you're doing exercise you hate, you're going to stop doing that. So do the time to figure out what you like to eat, do the time to figure out what you like to do for exercise, utilize the app, there's tons of great workouts in the app.
It
Like
should.
my just doing the leg workout, like my rear end looks 1,000% better.
I love that. I love
So
that. All the resources, and again, just building that foundation, believing in yourself that it's possible, and building that foundation. I love that. I love it. I couldn't have said it better myself. And you said that figuring out the food you love because you don't like to eat crappy food, which brings me to my final question for you, Miss Nikki. And I always love ending with this. You've lost over 50 pounds. You have PCOS. You have the insulin sensitivity. You have 3 kids. You are busy. At one point in your life, you're like, I don't even know if this is possible for me, but you've done it. What is the most favorite thing you've gotten to eat while losing 50 pounds?
my husband has a pizza. It's called the Marauder. And it has like a sriracha sauce on it, and it has taco meat on it, and it has Canadian bacon on it, and it has regular bacon on it, and it has hamburger on it, and it has cheese on it, and it is amazing.
You're, you're making me drool over here. That sounds delightful. Where are you at? Give him a little shout out real quick. Where
Yeah.
is this at? Because I need to come
Bismarck, North
visit.
Dakota, Bruno's Pizza in Bismarck, North Dakota.
I'm
The
coming to visit.
best, that is the best pizza. The other thing that I eat regularly is he has a pizza. So it is a pizza crust, and it has mashed potatoes on it,
Oh my
and
God.
then it has gravy, and then it has bacon.
Oh my
And
God.
I can eat that and lose weight.
Oh my God. This sounds delightful. I really am going to get you to give me your husband's contact info for this stuff, and I will put it below. If anybody's nearby or wants to visit, we'll give him a shout out because these are the things you got to eat while you
Mhm.
lost this weight, and I absolutely love that. So we'll give him a shout out as well. I love that. Nikki, thank you so much for doing this and taking out the time of your busy schedule. I really do appreciate it. And again, you guys, Nikki's still doing these challenges with us. You guys will get to meet her. She's a real person. We didn't make all this stuff up. If you are interested in joining our challenge, it is absolutely free. We're going to be giving away another $1,000. All you have to do is click the link below, above, sideways, wherever it is, and we would love to have you. Nikki, congrats again, and I'll talk to you soon.